Even now, The Mandalorian is the hottest Star Wars show on Disney+, and now the strikes are over, fans are wondering, when can I expect to see Season 4? Well, strap yourselves in because we have an update.
This is the way.
Unfortunately, it's not all good news.
It's time to go.
Let's dig into the article, find out the latest news, and get into a bit of speculation because although Season 3 wasn't everyone's cup of tea, I do have a strong feeling that Season 4 is really going to bring it home. So this is an article we've got over on Star Wars Newsnet today, titled The Mandalorian Season 4 Getting Ramped Up, Brendan Wayne Confirms, and Katie Sackhoff Hints at a Return. We've been suggesting for a few weeks that once the SAG-AFTRA strike was settled, one of the first projects to be affected would be The Mandalorian Season 4, which was once supposed to shoot in October. The labour dispute came to an end last week, and now two of the main actors in the show have suggested a prompt return to set. On Thursday, the day after the deal between the actors and the studios was announced, Katie Sackhoff, who portrays Bo-Katan, posted on social media a picture of herself wearing the Bo-Katan wig with her baby. In the caption, she basically confirmed that she'll be coming back to the role in the new season. It's kind of a no duh, but also nice to hear directly from the horse's mouth. So she goes on to say, Throwback Thursday, since we can talk about work again. Thank you, SAG-AFTRA. I also miss my baby while travelling. I can't wait to be home, but also put this wig on again. Whilst it is great that Bo-Katan looks like she's going to be returning in The Mandalorian Season 4, this article says that it's a given. It certainly isn't. If we look back to Season 3, the two are on completely different paths. Din Djarin is now working with the New Republic on a case-by-case basis. He's got his little hut. He's settled with Din Grogu, if that's what we're going to call him now. Bo-Katan is on Mandalore, trying to rebuild Mandalore to its former glory. They're on completely different paths, so let's not forget Season 1 and Season 2 of The Mandalorian primarily focused on Din Djarin. It was only Season 3, the last season, where Bo-Katan stepped in and took the bigger role and effectively become the Mandalorian of that season. Whether that's going to continue for Season 4 or not is yet to be seen, but I have a feeling the way we left Season 3 is now it's going to go back to being Din Djarin and Grogu, and it looks like Bo-Katan's going to step in and potentially help Din with the threat of Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now he's back in the galaxy. Now on Tuesday, Brendan Wayne, one of the two stunt doubles who plays the title character in The Mandalorian, posted a picture of the soccer team he coaches with the caption, "Only one thing is more exciting to me than the strike being over or Season 4 of Mando getting ramped up, and that's Season 2 of Coach Mando and the Lady Lancers." Now, the article goes on to say, and I agree, that's as much confirmation as we needed that the Manhattan Beach studio lot is getting ready again to shoot. Now, many of you might associate, quite rightly, The Mandalorian as being portrayed by Pedro Pascal, but that is very rarely the case these days. Most of the time, it is Brendan Wayne and another stunt guy who come in and do the filming with Pedro Pascal, coming in now and again, maybe for a day, maybe for a half a day, and doing the voiceover work once all's said and done. That's why we very rarely see The Mandalorian take his helmet off anymore. We saw it in Season 2, we saw it in Season 1, but if you notice, it didn't happen in Season 3. It's very similar, actually, to what they do with Darth Vader. They have three different actors, or they did have three different actors that brought Vader to life in Kenobi and in the Ahsoka show. Hayden Christensen does the voice work, which is then altered to sound like Darth Vader, and he does the shots where you can see Vader's actual face behind the mask, but then you have different people come in for the fight scenes and for full body shots of Vader because they're massively tall. Now, at this point, it's highly unlikely that they will do so before the end of the year going to shoot. First, it's probably best for everyone to wait until after the holidays and not have to stop just 2 weeks after starting. But to be honest with you, they've done that before with Star Wars productions, where they've literally got everyone in for a couple of weeks and then they've stopped for Thanksgiving, they've continued afterwards. So wouldn't surprise me if it could be sooner. They probably have supporting roles to cast as well, which they weren't able to do during the summer like they originally would have intended. And for those that are already cast, they might need costume and camera tests. So we'll have to see. I mean, they go on to say a February start date seems like a plausible guess, depending on the time they need to cast it. After all, below the line people like set or costume designers would have been able to work these past few months, perhaps even without Jon Faverau's supervision. Now, if February is the start date that the cameras do actually start rolling, my best guess, based on the timelines that they've gone by before, would be that The Mandalorian Season 4 would be ready maybe for March 2025, maybe towards the summer. You know, it could be that big summer show we get in 2025, which at that rate would be just over a year away from that big Mandalorian crossover movie. Now, one final note while we're on the Mandalorian topic, there have been a lot of headlines rolling around the internet these past few days about Pedro Pascal not returning for the 4th season. This is absolute misinformation. It was all taken from a story by Bespin Bulletin, where it was argued that the actor will likely not go down to the soundstage a lot during production, as he still has to finish shooting Gladiator 2 and we'll be spending the first part of 2024 in Canada shooting the second season of The Last of Us. And there was arguments all over Twitter regarding this. As I mentioned earlier on, it's nothing new. It's been this way for season 2, season 3. I think he was more involved in season 1, if I'm honest with you. But nowadays, it's largely just voiceover work that he does. You see, I was a big fan of Din Djarin becoming one of the Mandalorians that didn't have to wear his helmet. And I thought that was the direction we were going to be going after season 2. Of course, as season 3 rolls around, things happen in season 3, you learn that's really not the case. It is probably one of the biggest mistakes Lucasfilm have made in recent years in allowing Din Djarin to remove his helmet in the first place. You see, as fans have already seen what it looks like under the helmet, they expect it all the more, whereas it's really not going to happen. If it does happen, it would probably be in the movie at a push. I feel if Lucasfilm knew Pedro Pascal wasn't going to be around as much as they had wanted, then it would have been a better idea just to keep the Mandalorian as this mysterious figure under the helmet, pretty similar to how Boba Fett was in the original trilogy. Now, this is massively positive news for Star Wars, which has been very dry since Star Wars Celebration with a lack of news due to the strikes. And I know season 3 of The Mandalorian wasn't the strongest season to date, but the overall story really moved forwards in the Ahsoka show, and now we have the arrival of Grand Admiral Thrawn in the galaxy. I'm intrigued to seeing how Din Djarin and the other Mandalorians handle that. As always, let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments. Remember to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'll catch you in the next one. This is the way.